6 a.m. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media. And next we are talking with Dr. Ridhwaan Suliman. He is Senior Researcher at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR for short. And we're going to be looking at the COVID death toll, the COVID stats, and was the president, in fact, correct in moving us back into level 3. Are we ready for it, or are we going to be seeing more of COVID-19 and more of deaths? Dr. Ridhwaan Suliman, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program. And how do you respond to that question?
Wa alaikum salam. Thanks for having me. Yes, as you indicated, unfortunately, deaths do remain high. We've been reporting over 400 deaths on average per day over the past week. But we do know that deaths do lag the number of cases and the test positivity rate by about 3 to 4 weeks. So following an increase and a surge in the number of new infections that we have been seeing, particularly in Gauteng, but across the country, unfortunately, we are seeing that has translated to a burden or impact in terms of the number of people succumbing to the virus. We have noted that over the past couple of weeks, the number of new infections across the country has stabilized. In fact, nationally, we are on a downward trend for the past 2 weeks, reporting an average of just over 12,000 new cases per day across the country over the last week. And that figure is decreasing down about 20% week on week. So given that the situation in terms of the number of infections has stabilized in Gauteng in particular, and as well as most of the other provinces, I think the move to a level 3 now is probably justified. And I don't think we needed to stay in a level 4 for much longer. I think it did the job that it had to do. With that in mind, of course, we do need to note that the risk still remains, and we do need to remain cautious, hence why level 3 with restrictions still on gatherings is still in place until we get to a point where the risk is much lower.
Would you say that it's good news that as of the 1st of September, vaccines are going to be made available to 18-year-olds and above? Are we going to then be protecting ourselves even further? That's question number 1. Question number 2, the viability of adolescents and children, younger than 18, to be vaccinated. Is that on the cards, and how viable is that?
So I'm not a vaccinologist nor any medical expert, so I can't really comment on the medical benefits and the impact that it will have. Rather, I'm just tracking the data and the numbers, so can rather just look at that. That being said, I mean, with the program opening up to 18-year-olds and above, I think that whoever wants to have that vaccine will then be afforded the opportunity. Certainly, the supply is now increased, and so supply in terms of the vaccination doses available in the country has been increasing, and so those who need or would require the dose can then be able to get it. The indications are that it does reduce severe illness in terms of hospitalization as well as death, and so I think that's the benefit that we're hoping for in terms of that program.
You are a scientist. Now, maybe this question is not for you, but let me just throw it at you anyway. Do you think at some point we may require a third jab? Just in terms of, being safer rather than exposing ourselves?
It seems like that's the indication mentioned by the medical experts and the vaccinologists. We do know that, look, as the transmission of the virus is ongoing, it does mutate and result in variants. We've seen this happen over the last year, and we know that the virus will continue to mutate. We don't know what's going to happen, whether the variants will differ in terms of their how transmissible, how virulent they may be, and also the efficacy of current vaccines
Mm.
against variants. I think that's all very much unknown. So the indication is that as new variants emerge, there may be a need to tweak the type of vaccines and to then possibly have to re-administer or give booster jabs thereafter.
Dr. Ridhwaan Suliman from CSIR, shukran very much for your time. Nice talking to you. Go well and keep safe.
You too. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. It is 9:42, but before we go for our ad break, a beautiful message here. I have to read it to you. Salams, Jazakallah for a good show, and Quraisha Ismail Suliman, you